But I know it wouldn't even be an issue if parents would sack up and tell their kids to get off the fucking phone. Democrats are still afraid of the mean girls who police their far-out fringe. But parents used to tell them, that's ridiculous. The world doesn't work that way. Not today's parents. They say, you're right, honey. Gender is just a social construct. Please, sometimes your mother and I forget which one of us has the...
Bill Maher is back. And this time he didn't just aim at Republicans. He turned the spotlight on his own team. In his latest monologue, Maher joked that Democrats sometimes trip over their own fears instead of standing tall. It wasn't about losing elections. It was about losing confidence. With his signature mix of sarcasm and truth, Maher reminded everyone that comedy can sting a little, but it's meant to wake us up, not knock us down. So if you enjoy sharp humor that makes you laugh and think at the same time, you're in the right place. Let's jump in.
Democrats need to get their shit together because we need two parties in this country, and we desperately need the one that still concedes elections, doesn't sell the office, and doesn't want to completely switch out democratic rule of law for a rubber-stamped autocracy. But that party is so right now, and nothing to me symbolized that more than this video.
The DNC has been stumbling lately, and let's be honest, a lot of the wounds are self-inflicted. The numbers show their support isn't as strong as it once was, and that should be a wake-up call. Instead of looking steady and confident, too often they get caught up in trying to please everyone with slogans that don't really mean much. And while they never run out of energy when it comes to throwing shade at Donald Trump, they sometimes stay quiet about the mess inside their own house. Maher's point, if Democrats don't get their act together, they risk fading into the background. Not extinct, but definitely irrelevant. That's a punchline nobody wants.
Why do I say that? Well, let me put it this way. I don't know for a fact that this couple are Democrats. I just know it's true. First off, the man is at a Coldplay concert. And while Republicans could like Coldplay, they don't, but they could. It's unlikely that this guy is a Christian conservative because he was having an affair with a woman.
Sure, Bill Maher never spares Republicans or even Donald Trump from his punchlines. But this time, his focus hit closer to home. Maher argued that Democrats sometimes act as if they're sitting on a moral high horse. But the problem with that view is, it can turn into a cage. While Republicans, for better or worse, tend to face their controversies head-on, sometimes even embracing them, Democrats often choose to dodge, deflect, or quietly sweep things under the rug. That's not strength. That's stage acting. And the longer they hold on to that illusion, the more everyday voters can see through it. Maher's point wasn't to tear anyone down. It was to say, honesty connects, pretending doesn't.
I knew they were Democrats for the same reason I knew this was a Democrat. You can't hide from the kiss cam, and you can't hide in the Oval Office. Damn, if only the lady at the Coldplay concert had brought some folders with her, maybe she wouldn't be in hot water today.
Maher's point couldn't be clearer. Democrats need to show some backbone. Playing it safe only makes them look nervous. Take Gretchen Whitmer's meeting with Trump. She tried to keep it quiet, worried about blowback from her own side. But once the photos leaked and went viral, she caught the heat anyway. Instead of looking cautious, she looked cornered. Now imagine a Republican in that spot. They'd have walked out to cameras blazing, chest high, turning it into a victory lap. Maher's message is simple. If Democrats want to inspire voters, they can't keep acting like they're scared of their own reflection. Confidence wins more hearts than fear ever will.
Democrats seem to be afraid of everything. They were petrified of COVID. masking 2-year-olds who never would have died from it and keeping schools closed for far too long. They're definitely afraid of their kids.
The pandemic itself was real, but the way it was handled exposed a lot of flaws. Schools stayed closed far longer than the science suggested was necessary, leaving kids paying the price. That decision set students back in ways we're still seeing today. But even more damaging than the policies was the double standard. Leaders told everyone to mask up and avoid gatherings. Yet some were caught at fancy dinners and private events without following their own rules. That's not leadership. That's bad theater. When the people who make the rules don't live by them, they lose trust. And without trust, it doesn't matter what party you belong to. Nobody's really listening.
Immemorial have always come up with bad ideas. They're kids, thinking up stupid what they do. But parents used to tell them, that's ridiculous. The world doesn't work that way. Not today's parents. They say, you're right, honey. Gender is just a social construct. Please, sometimes your mother and I forget which one of us has the...
It's hard to miss how much media has changed. Flip on a sitcom today and you'll notice a pattern. Parents often come off as clueless, while the kids are written like pint-sized philosophers. And dads, they get the roughest edit of all. Instead of being shown as role models or protectors, they're turned into punchlines. Lovable, maybe, but usually lost. Sure, comedy has always exaggerated family life, but when every show leans the same way, it starts to feel less like humor and more like habit. Maher's point is simple. Respect isn't outdated, and adults don't need to be written as fools for kids to shine. Entertainment works best when everyone's allowed to be human, not stereotypes.